Hey Australian Labradoodle puppy lovers, we have a litter update for you. In today's video, we are going to tell you all about these week-old, medium-sized Australian Labradoodle puppies. These puppies are from the Calico Quilt litter, and I'm Claire from Isle Labradoodles. So in today's video, we're going to go through each of the puppies, tell you about what they've been up to individually and as a group over the past week, give you an update on their weights, and also give you an update on Mama Cali and what's going to be happening in the week to come. So we're going to start with Mama Cali here. This Mama Labradoodle is a terrific mama. She's very attentive. She has a gorgeous milk bar, but she's not a helicopter mom. So Cali, already with the puppies just a week old, is happy to go out. She goes outside. She only leaves the puppies for about 10 to 12 minutes at a time, but she is okay with leaving them on their own. And she's also fine with being just removed a little bit from the actual maternity box and keeping an ear and an eye out on them. So as you can see, it's very crowded in here. The box is small, Cali's large, and I'm also in here with them. Of course, normally I'm not in here all the time with them. I'm in here a lot, but not constantly. But the reason why we have a small box is to actually make everything easier for the puppies and for Cali. So Cali is a first-time mom, and when you are a first-time mom, you have to learn the ropes and get used to things. And even though they're very small and they're not really mobile yet, these puppies can still move around. And so what tends to happen is Cali will be over here, for instance, and a puppy might end up over here, or sometimes in behind her here. And this is also the reason why we have these rails, which are called pig rails, because that way Cali can't accidentally crush a puppy over here. But we can have a puppy that gets on the wrong side of her. So the less amount of space, the less amount of trouble that the puppies and mom are going to run into. Now, if we do get a puppy that ends up on the wrong side there, believe me, even though they're little and even though they can't hear themselves, they can squawk and no matter where you are, you will hear them. Now, we do have a baby monitor for all of the puppies. It's a video and an audio one, but generally speaking, regardless of whether we have the baby monitor or not, no matter where we are, we can hear if a puppy gets themselves into trouble. So one thing that's really interesting about the puppies is their ability to find Cali. So right now their eyes and their ears are all sealed shut, but they can still find Mama Cali. Now Cali, as their Mama Labradoodle, her job right now is to keep them warm, to keep them clean, to help them eliminate, and of course to feed them. So that means Cali has to eat a lot more, and she is doing that with quite a lot of enjoyment. We don't have any fuss from her about what she eats. She doesn't matter to her what I feed her right now. She just likes it that she gets fed. So she eats 4 times a day. She's still here eating in the maternity room as opposed to going out to eat. Probably next week, maybe week 3, she'll start to have 1 or 2 of her meals out in the doodle den with the other dogs. But for now, even if she's hungry, if she's in the doodle den and I offer it to her, she declines and asks me to bring it in here. Now, when the puppies were first born, only a week ago, these puppies are just a week old, initially we had her bowl right in here with her. That way she was much more content. She didn't have to physically leave the whelping box at all. And over the first couple of days, she wouldn't even actually willingly leave the whelping box to go outside to go to the bathroom. We had to come in and actually physically pick her up, move her out of the box, and sometimes put a leash on to get her to leave her puppies. By day 3, that was fine. She was comfortable. She would go in and out on her own. And in the last couple of days now, she actually asks and tells us when she wants to go out. She just barks and tells us, hey, I need to go out, or maybe I just want to go out. Because you can imagine that you would want to have some time away from your babies as well. It's a very small area. Everything's closed in, so she can't see out. So of course, sometimes she's going to want to come out and see what the rest of the world is doing. So now she is quite happy to eat her meals just outside of the whelping box. But it's really funny because what she does is she leaves her hind legs in here, right where my feet are right now, and she puts herself over the edge here and then eats her food that way. She doesn't still like to have all 4 of her feet outside of the whelping box when she's eating. So sometimes we have to just try and understand that dogs do things that are different from us, and remember that they are dogs. They are not people. They are members of our family. We love them like we love people. However, we do have to keep in mind all the time that they are dogs and they do things differently than people do. And the other thing to keep in mind is that dogs, so these puppies, these little Australian Labradoodle puppies here, they're being born into a world that's totally foreign to them. They are not going to live in a dog world. They are going to live in a person world because we've domesticated them. And so there's a lot to learn as a dog as to how to fit in with people. So it's really important that as people, we remember this and keep this in mind when we're doing things with our dogs. So right from the beginning, we want to remember these are dogs. What is their natural way of doing things, and how can we make it work really well with those natural instincts to have them fit into our world so that we're comfortable with them and they are comfortable with what we're asking. So one of the things that goes on with these little infant puppies right now is we do some, we handle them. We don't handle them a lot at this age because right now the most important thing is for them to build the strong bond with Cali, for Cali to feel comfortable with being a mama Labradoodle, which she clearly is, and for everything to just settle in for that first week. The only thing that we want these puppies to do in their first week is to grow. And all they do is eat, sleep, eat, sleep, eat, sleep. That's it. That's all they do for the first week. Their ears are sealed shut. Their eyes are sealed shut. So I believe that probably the puppies were designed to be born this way in order for when they enter the world, for it not to be so completely overwhelming for them, and also so they didn't have distractions, so that all they were going to focus on was eating and getting themselves bigger and stronger so that they were able to survive. Because of course, were they not being cared for by us, there would be all sorts of challenges and risks to their survival. There still are, even though they're being cared for by us, but many of those are eliminated by a large amount. Now, one thing what we do when we handle the puppies is, because they're usually sleeping, because we don't disturb them when they're nursing, is we touch them before we pick them up, just like this, so they know that we're there and something's going to happen. Because in dog world, nobody gets picked up. Dogs do not pick dogs up. Only people pick dogs up. So just this mere act of picking them up and holding them is something that's very foreign to a dog. So this is really the first thing that all puppies learn in terms of starting to fit into people world, because they'll get picked up lots. Now, these are medium Australian Labradoodles, and a couple of them are likely even going to develop into small standards. So they're not going to get picked up as often as a smaller Labradoodle will. However, they will get picked up to be put into vehicles, they'll get picked up to be on the vet's examining table, and when they're puppies, they'll get picked up quite often. So it's something we want them to be comfortable with. So that's why when we handle them, we do pick them up. And you can see here that this puppy is very comfortable being handled because he has been multiple times. And oh, it's just exhausting sitting up here with this human. And then the other thing that we do with them on a daily basis is we have them go upside down in our arms. Now, why do we do this? A couple of reasons. This is a position of supplication. This requires trust on the puppy's part. There's no support for the puppy at all. The puppy has no ability to do anything. It's giving, so to speak, to me. All of their trust is with me. Cali is also trusting me completely with her puppy because, again, she's not. She's a dog, and dogs don't pick up dogs. And here I am picking her dog up, and now I've got her baby upside down. So we rub the baby's tummy because puppies love to have their tummy rubbed. And indeed, Australian Labradoodles love having belly rubs. So this gives a nice, good feeling to the puppy. And at the same time we're talking, and while they can't hear, they do get the vibrations from my chest, and they are inhaling my scent. So they are now associating the smell of me with something good. And that is what we want them to do from day one, right? Usually the very first scent they ever have in their life is mom and me, because they're in the birth and helping out with the birth. So those are the two things that they smell. Now, right now, the puppies depend 100% on their sense of smell for everything in their life. They have no ability to see or hear. They can't keep themselves warm yet. They can't even go to the bathroom on their own. The only thing that's functioning is their little noses. And their noses tell them where mom is. It even tells them which one of the teats is their favorite one. It also tells them which one has run out of milk and which one has lots of milk in it. It has little heat sensors in their nose. That's how they find mom, because they can sense the body heat, and that's where they move to. And then all of the things that dogs have in their nose, their enormous sense of smell, works to tell them, this is the last place I was at the milk bar. This is the one I really like, and oh, this one's got a lot of milk in there. And that's how they move along through it. So lots of times I think people forget how our sense of smell actually impacts us. So people who have been in an accident and suffered a head injury or a brain injury oftentimes lose their sense of smell. And when they lose their sense of smell, there's many other things that are lost, including their short-term memory tends to be deeply impacted. So we rely as people on our eyes to tell us things, and we rely on our language to tell us a lot of things, to communicate things. We use our eyes to read, to learn, and we talk, and that's how we communicate. And we often forget all about our other senses as we get overwhelmed with things all the time, with always being bombarded with sights and information. Whereas if we just let it all go and realize, maybe we would realize, oh, my sense of smell is actually telling me this, because our sense of smell is telling us things that we don't even realize it's telling us, such as it being the main trigger for memory is your sense of smell. So these little guys are using that strong sense, and it's telling them everything. So one of the things they can also tell with their noses is if Cali is upset or she's relaxed. And so that's why we have her in this small area that's quiet, that's warm, and where she doesn't see out, because we want there to be no distractions and nothing that is going to cause her any sorts of upset or anxiety. And these puppies, every puppy, can sense all of that in their mom. It all goes through mom and comes out in her milk. So they are ingesting it, and also it all comes into them by way of communication through scent. So that's why we work so very, very hard to create an environment where mom is going to be completely comfortable and relaxed. Now the puppies at 1 week old, what our goal is between the time they're born and the time they're 10 days old is for the puppies to double their birth weight. Now, it's a little hard to see because they're all clumped up here, but I can tell you they have more than doubled their birth weight. Every single one of these puppies. My goodness, this is one of the most robust litters we have ever had. And just look at the gleam on all of these coats. These puppies just literally almost shine in the dark. They're so glowy. And you can see even Cali, she has very short fur right now. She too has a beautiful shine to her coat. You can see there's no hair being lost. Her eyes are bright. She has a rich dark color in her coat. She's just doing fabulously. And that's all attributable to what Cali's eating, because what Cali eats is what the puppies get. And so Cali is on a 100% raw diet. That's all she eats, and she also has some fresh bones. So she has several raw chicken necks during the day along with her raw food. So we feed her a combination of frozen raw patties and freeze-dried raw. And primarily what she's eating is the new brand of food that we have through Curated Canines, and that's Puppy Love Freeze Dried. It's a Canadian-made brand. It's completely complete. It's complete and fully balanced. And I tell you, the results are right here in the puppies. And we have another litter with Anise. Anise's puppies are 2 weeks older than Cali's, and Anise is eating the same thing. Anise had flat nipples, which made it next to impossible for her puppies to nurse initially. Her puppies as well are just glowing and gleaming, so is Anise, and their weights are remarkable as well. So full credit to the nutrition that our mama dogs are getting for producing such beautiful, healthy puppies. Yes, that's you that I'm talking about. So this week, the puppies' main focus, as I said, is just on growing. Now, over the next week, we are going to start to see some of the puppies opening their eyes. And normally, the puppies open their eyes somewhere between day 10 and 18. The earliest usually is day 10. You very seldom see eyes opening before day 10, and day 18 is about the latest. If your puppy's eyes aren't open by day 18, then that's when you're going to be taking them to the vet and making sure that there isn't an issue with them. Sometimes their eyes don't open because there is a problem with the way the eye has been developed. And usually that then involves a vet to make sure that the dog's vision is not impacted. So that's probably the biggest milestone that these guys will achieve over the next week, is getting those eyes open. And you can imagine what a change that's going to be with big sensory overload there. The other thing that will happen over this next week, or what I did today, was I dropped the temperature in the maternity ward by 1 degree. So we're now at 22 degrees, which is a very nice, comfortable ambient temperature. You can see Cali still pants because having all these puppies on her body and nursing is a hot experience, regardless of the fact that the air itself is no longer as warm as it was. We started off with the puppies in here at 24 degrees. We dropped that down to 23 degrees when they were 2 days old, and now we're down to 22 degrees. And they're perfectly fine. They still cannot regulate their body temperature, but they have a little bit of control over that. So that's why the puppies all crowd together and they all sleep together, and is to give each other that body warmth. And whenever Cali is in here, they're usually crowded up next to her, even if they aren't busy chowing down at the milk bar there. So that's pretty much what they've been doing this past week. No major huge things occur in the first week other than that weight gain and then us handling them. And so I'm just going to use green color here as an example, because the other thing we do with the puppies, as well as handle them and have them upside down like that, is we give them a little bit of early neurological stimulation. And so what's involved with that is we just do something unusual. So picking them up on its own is unusual. Putting them on their back is unusual. And the other two things we do is we put them upside down like this briefly, just for that long, and then we hold them straight up like this as well. And then the other thing we do is we put them on different surfaces. So when we're cleaning, I will have a damp paper towel sometimes, or I'll just use my book that I record all their weights in, and you just put the puppy onto that surface, just like that, just for a few seconds. Let them move around for a couple of minutes, and that's it. Now, what is the point of all of this? So there is a school of thought that began in the US military that early neurological stimulation would create puppies who were more robust in terms of being able to successfully deal with new experiences and stressful situations in life. And you can see Pink Color Girl is terribly stressed here, lying upside down. She can't lie right side up because her tummy's so full from eating. Anyways, it was so puppies would be able to meet stressful and new situations more successfully if they were exposed to them starting right from a very young age. And then the proponents of this theory also espouse that it would also increase the robustness of the puppies' neurological systems and their heart health. So there's actually no evidence showing any of that's true, none of it. And I have a hard time accepting that doing those little exercises impacts their physical health. Maybe I'm wrong, but it just doesn't seem logical to me. I do think, though, that the fact that we handle them, and when we handle them, it's always in association with something that's pleasant, so that right from the beginning, they're learning that this is something different, this is something new, but it's something I like. I do think that that really helps the puppies become a little bit more prepared for what's going to happen in life for the rest of their life. One of the things that we love hearing from our families is how our dogs are all so well socialized and desensitized, and how they don't have a fear of the world. And that's what we really want to do. We want to take the puppy, their natural ways, and get them to fit into our world successfully. And so now you just saw this little one. This is, I think it's green collar, no, yellow collar. You just saw him do a little foof there where he had a little bit of a big jump. So lots of times when people watch puppies sleeping and they see them twitching and moving around, they say, oh, they're dreaming. Well, they're not actually dreaming. That's nature's way of dealing with getting the puppies to develop their muscle strength and coordination, even though they spend pretty much all of their life sleeping at this age. So, whoops, there you go. He just did it again. It's also one of the reasons, if you're a breeder and you're handling the puppy at this age, you don't want to have them in a precarious position, because they could do a big little twitch there and fall out of your arms. Oh, we got such a big yawn there. Such a very, very sleepy baby. So that's how they don't become, where their muscles don't decay, because they do spend so much time sleeping. But you can see when they're nursing, they're spending quite a bit of effort there nursing. Now that Cali sat up, that requires a whole different skill set for the puppies to be able to adjust to continue to nurse even though she's sat up. And now you'll see she probably might get out of the whelping box in a minute, or mostly she's probably just worried that I have her baby and I'm lifting her baby up. There we go. Are you going to get out? You want to go out? You going out? She's trying to get herself to be comfortable and fit in, even though I'm in here with her. Yeah, you're just taking up all the room, aren't I? There we go. So another thing, people feel that puppies are extremely fragile. There now, that was a beautiful example of a wonderful mom. She exited very slowly and very gently. She knew she had puppies attached, and so she made sure that they had the ability to come off of the teat and fall down here in the nest and not be banged up against the pig rail. But you can be amazed how tough these puppies are, even though they're so little. And of course, life is fragile. I'm not suggesting that they aren't at great risk still at this age. Oh, we just had, can you just hand me a paper towel, Reynolds? Are there still some around? We just had a puppy that peed all over here. And usually that doesn't occur unless Cali is here stimulating the puppy to go, and then she would have licked it up and it wouldn't be there for everyone else to be getting through. So we'll just wipe that up so we don't have puppies sitting in wet pee. Urine itself is sterile, so there's no problem if the puppy gets it on them. We just don't want them to be wet, because still they're too young to be wet. It's easy for them to catch a chill, and it's very important that they don't have any drafts around them, that we keep them all cozy and warm still, even though we have turned the temperature down. So the puppies, sometimes it's amazing how tough they are. So lots of moms are not as gentle as Cali is. And when they get up, the puppies go flying, they bang into the pig rail, and you think, oh, good grief, these just little tiny infant things. And some moms are not very coordinated. So when they come in, like Cali's trying to do now, they step on them. And you can get lots of screaming going on when you have a clumsy mom. But when you've got a really good mom like Cali, we don't hear that very often. Sometimes she will inadvertently step on one as she's trying to maneuver herself around the mall. But it's very seldom that we hear them crying because of that. But it's amazing what these little infants can go through. So that's what all the puppies have been doing this week. There's not a lot that gets, oh, and the other thing we did too though is I have cut their claws already. So this is another thing that normally would not happen with dogs, is having their claws cut. But what we want to do is start handling these paws, going in between the toes, doing that every day, so that this is just something that is natural to them, nothing to be upset about. And then I have already clipped their nails. So not only do we want the puppies to be desensitized to that, but we don't want those nails clawing at the milk bar. Because if you get a scratch and then mom goes outside and some dirt gets in there and there's some bacteria, that's how we can get a mastitis infection. And that's when we can get into really serious trouble and really have a problem. So we are very careful to keep their nails very closely clipped. Plus it's not very comfortable, I'm quite sure, to have your milk bar ripped apart by those sharp claws. And then we also use a product called Bag Balm, which is actually for cattle. And it's sort of like a really thick Vaseline. It's totally safe for the puppies and mom, and we just put a thin layer of that all over the milk bar about once every 3 days, and that keeps the skin nice and supple. It helps it not to scratch easily. So lots of care there for the mammary glands. The mammary glands are full of blood vessels and are the highway to everything in the body. So that's why if they get an infection in their mammary gland, it just spreads everywhere in the body. So now let's go through all of the puppies and give you an update on their birth. And this is one of the things Cali often brings in right now, is a piece of dead grass. It's so hot, our grass is all dead. So these are all fine. Natural exposures. I don't believe in keeping puppies in bubbles. I don't believe in keeping the mom in bubbles. I want them to develop a beautifully robust, strong, natural immune system by exposing them carefully to as many things as we can in a safe manner. So we're going to go through the puppies in birth order. We'll do that for every single video so that it's always fair. And in particular for when we do the allocation video, we want to make sure we're fair with that. So our first puppy born here is Yellow Collar Boy. And Yellow Collar Boy is this guy here. And he is just like Mama Cali. He is a really pretty chocolate phantom boy. Just a little sweetheart. And this little angel boy is now 632 grams. And unbelievably, at 632 grams at just 1 week old, he's the smallest in the litter now. He was not the smallest when he was born, but he is now. So that's why I always say, don't expect the puppy who's the smallest to always be the smallest, or the biggest to always be the biggest. You'll see them changing position quite regularly throughout the next 8 weeks. Next is Pink Collar Girl. It's this little beauty collar queen girl here. Now this is our only party in the litter. And this little chocolate bunny here, she's got a little slash of lipstick over here on her lip. She didn't do a very good job putting her lipstick on. She's only got a little bit of lipstick. And then this adorable beauty spot over here on the other side. So this little girl is what we call a party. And a party is when we have white and the base coat color in sort of a 50-50 mix. And you can see she's got that pretty chocolate all around her eyes and up her head and her ears. Really symmetrical markings. And then down her back you can see she got her little diamond shapes. It looks a little bit like an hourglass. It's getting to be less of that shape as she gets older now. Hey, don't my baby. These spots, when she is bigger, will show up even more on her. Now, one thing with Australian Labradoodles, people often shy away from a white or a light colored dog thinking, oh, they're going to show the dirt. But what happens with the Australian Labradoodle? So let's say it's one of those West Coast, British Columbia days, or one of those Vancouver Island days where it's pouring rain. Your dog goes out and they're covered in mud and they come back and their paws up to here are black. You just put them in your mud room. You really need a mud room for a muddy dog. Let them sit there for about 20 minutes and you'll be amazed. You'll come back and almost all that dirt will have come off. If there's still a little bit left, you just give them a really quick brush, like a 1-minute brush, and it will all just come off and they'll look just as clean as ever. It's really quite an amazing feature of the breed. So Pink Collar Girl, she is now 790 grams. She weighed 309 grams when she was born, so she's clearly far more than doubled her birth weight. And next we have Dark Blue Collar. Dark Blue Collar is right here. I do it, sweetie. Hey. A Dark Blue Collar is like Mama Cali, a chocolate phantom with a bonus. He's a tri. And a tri is called a tri, whoa, because he's 3 colors. So you can see all the white on his face, his paws, on his chest, and this little guy even has a little white tip on his tail. Just adorable. Blue Collar was the biggest puppy at birth. He was 316 when he was born. He's not the biggest puppy now, but he is 734 grams. So again, far more than doubling his birth weight. Next we got Green Collar, and that's Green Collar here. A Green Collar is the same as Yellow Collar, a phantom, but Green Collar is a black phantom as opposed to a chocolate phantom. Fairly similar there to Dark Blue because there is white markings on this puppy. So again, a tri. Not on the top of the face, but here on the goatee, the chest, and the paws. And he doesn't have a little white tip on his tail. No, he does not. He just has a black tail. And Mr. Green Collar was 268, and now he is coming in at 642. And then we've got Tan Collar Girl. Now, Pink and Tan are the only girls in the litter. And Tan Collar, you're going to get a little bit of a biased opinion here on her. This is something we almost never see anymore in Australian Labradoodle world, and that is a solid ebony dog. Black dogs used to be really common in Australian Labradoodles, and now they are not so common. And a solid black is almost unheard of. And this absolutely gorgeous puppy is indeed a solid black. And I just love that classic color. I just think it's the most beautiful color for dogs. Look at how her coat just gleams. This is a beautiful puppy, gorgeous head, just meeting the breed standard in a lovely fashion. Nice wide head, high set ears, good strong stop, and a nice little short muzzle. That is what we just love to see. So this little girl steals my heart in terms of her actual color. I have no idea what she's like on the inside yet, and that's what really matters, we all know. But since we don't know who they are yet, just based on what she looks like, oh, she gets my vote. And Miss Tan Collar Girl, she was 270 when she was born, and now she's 644 grams, doing just great in the weight gain department. And next we have Purple Collar. Purple Collar. Where are you, Purple Collar? Here you are. Nope, wrong one. Sorry, this is Purple Collar. I was right the first time. Purple Collar. Guess what? Purple Collar is our winner as the biggest puppy in the litter. This is our big, chunky, hefty boy. Oh my goodness. Again, same as his mom, but he has a little bit of a bonus there with the white on the chest. And then I think that's about the only place he has white. On his paws, in the back there, and underneath, but not so much on top of his paws. So Purpy, he was 310 when he was born, And now he is 791 grams. So he beats Pink by 1 gram. So these are our two hefty puppies in the litter. And you can really see that heft. Oh my gracious me. Oh my goodness, look at how wide you are. Just a big chunky puppies. These puppies are just enormously wonderful. And then last but not least is Light Blue Collar, who's over here all by himself. I'm just gonna pick him up. Hi, buddy. Hi. And you'll hear me talking to them all the time, even though I'm well aware they can't hear me. Now, Light Blue is very close to Tan Color Girl, but he is not a solid black. And he's gonna be something that has kind of a funny name. He's a leaked phantom. That's the term we use, because if you'll look at his paws here, if he lets me show them to you. You see, there's the phantom markings just showing through, not the way that they normally do. And if you look on his face, no phantom markings at all. But if you look in his vent, yeah, we have a phantom marking. So that's what we call a leaked phantom or a weak phantom. I hate the term weak, it sounds so derogatory. So that's why I prefer to call them leaked. Oh, so that means that the alleles that we need for Phantom to show up just weren't really strong with this puppy. They're there, but they're a little bit wishy-washy. They wanted to show up, but oh no, they didn't quite make it to the party. So that's why we call him a leaked Phantom. And indeed, Papa Tig for this litter, he himself is a leaked phantom. So that's why I'm not particularly surprised that we have one puppy who is also a leaked phantom. And Mr. Light Blue, he was the smallest puppy, the litter, at 245 grams when he was born, and now he's 664 grams. So they're all doing marvelously thanks to Mama Cali. You probably can't see her because I think she's just off camera. Well, maybe Reynold can capture her. But you see how she's spread out in front of the whelping box here. Now this is where we find her quite frequently during the day. She's fed the puppies. She knows they're full. She can hear that they're all fine. She knows there's no problem. And if she lies here, she's protecting them. Nobody can get past her, and she's on the nice cool floor there. She's on the tile, so that's nice and cool for her and gives her a break from being in the warmer spot with all the puppies. And then you see how the puppies are laid out here. This is how we know that the room is the right temperature. These three are clumped together just because they're finding comfort from one another there. And then the rest of them, they're close, but they're not all huddled up where they're all like in a football huddle, which they would be doing if they were cold and needed each other for warmth. And if they were completely all spread out and upside down, then we would know that they were too hot. So this is exactly what we want, that they're close by to one another because they are going to stay in their group, and their noses are telling them this is where we need to be, but they're comfortable. You can tell they're all got enormously fat, full tummies. There's some of that muscle twitching going on I was talking about. And they're all content, they're quiet, and they're all just going to go have a sleep and keep growing. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you have any questions at all or any comments, please post them in the comments section below here. Love to talk about them, love to get to know you, answer your questions. If you enjoyed the video and have a chance, please give us a thumbs up. It means the world to us. And we hope you'll be back next week and see who has those beautiful eyes open. Thanks so much for watching.